Alright, I'm sure you've all heard the news that rolled out yesterday or 2 days before, depending on when I upload this. In case you didn't know, and if you're living under a rock, Zelda U was delayed again, and it's also going to be released on the NX. Kind of like Twilight Princess, it was both released on the GameCube and the original Wii. I'm not so keen on this. Not at all. And I'll get into why soon, but here's an article from IGN, kind of explaining this. All right, this comes via Nintendo's official Twitter account, among a slew of information from the company's latest fiscal results. According to the tweet, the rationale behind the delay is to improve the quality, quote unquote, of the game. All right, quote. Though originally scheduled for 2016, the latest of the Legend of Zelda title is postponed until 2017 to allow further improvement of quality, unquote. The tweet reads, "Thank you for understanding." Alright, so it's also going to be a launch title for the NX, I also explained that, but this kind of concerns me. If the NX is a console, and it's gonna, and the game is gonna be both on the Wii U and the NX, how much more powerful is the NX gonna be from the Wii U? Because if it's not that big of a leap, then Nintendo's screwed again. Really. And also the NX is going to be released next March, which is really interesting, which kind of makes me think this is going to be a handheld, at least I hope. It's going to be a powerful handheld that is going to be able to hand a port from another console, which that would be cool, but if this is going to be another console, this is going to concern me dearly, because I hate to be a pessimist, but since a game from the Wii U is going to be ported onto that, and it's not going to be that much powerful, then that's going to really bother me. And also, it bothers me also that the Wii U didn't get its own Zelda game. You know, every console before the Wii U had its own Zelda game. Yeah, sure, both the GameCube and the Wii had Twilight Princess, but the GameCube had Wind Waker. And a lot of people bought the Wii U for Zelda U, and they're still going to get it on the Wii U, but they expected it to be exclusive to the Wii U, and some people are... I read some comments on the IGN article, and some people said they only bought a Wii U just for Zelda U. Well, I don't know if it's really called Zelda U anymore, but, you know, the new Zelda game. They only bought it for that game, and now, since it's going to be both on the NX and the Wii U, that people are going to be bothered by that, because then they wasted their money, and, yeah, really, Nintendo, this is just really weird. It really is. Something like this never happened before. Again, the GameCube had Wind Waker, so that had its own game, but this is going to be the first Nintendo console not to have its own Zelda game, at least all to itself. Maybe that's why the Wii U had a lot of remakes, and maybe that's why Twilight Princess, the remake came out. I don't know. But, yeah. I have a theory that maybe Nintendo really did finish this game, but they're just saying they're delaying it to improve the quality, but in all reality, they're just delaying it just so it'll be an NX launch title. Anyone else think that would make sense? I know a lot of other people think this way too. I've seen comments and such saying this, but I think it makes sense. Anyone watching this think it makes sense? Because I think it makes sense because Zelda would make a really strong launch title. No doubt in that. Yeah, that's just what I think. That's what I think why they're really launching it. Who knows? Maybe they're saying the truth. Maybe they really do want to improve the quality. But Nintendo, you already delayed it a year. You already delayed it a year ago. Wouldn't you think in a year they would fix everything wrong with the game? But anyway, also Nintendo is not showing the NX at E3. Really, Nintendo? Really? They're just gonna focus their E3 show on just the new Zelda game, and that's it. Okay, Nintendo, I get it. We're all anticipating details of this game. We all really want to know what this game is about and what we're expecting, because we're pretty much left in the dark with this whole the game. But really, Nintendo, you're going to dedicate a whole entire show on just one game and not unveil the console and not unveil your new console that everyone has been, speculating about. There's only been rumors about this console. We don't even have any real confirmed information on this console. And E3, you could have confirmed all these things and tell us what this console is, what its name is going to be, and all that. Really, Nintendo? You don't want to show it at your E3 show? You just want to focus on one game? I didn't expect to freak out like this, but yeah. I think the show is probably going to be worse than last year's E3. I mean, come on, last year's E3, at least it had more than one game shown at it. But, yeah, people might say, oh, you're going to be hyped once you see this game. Yeah, sure, but I still think the E3 show is going to be a bust because they're just going to focus on one game, and that's it. I don't even care if they have, like, garbage titles there. At least it'll be more than one game shown. But, yeah. So yeah, I think this whole thing is ridiculous. I'm not really so happy that the Wii U is not gonna have its own Zelda game, because this is gonna be the first ever Nintendo console not to have its own Zelda game, like ever really. I know they did something similar with the GameCube and the Wii with Twilight Princess, but at least the GameCube had Wind Waker and the Wii had Skyward Sword. So those two consoles both had its own Zelda game, but the Wii U is not gonna have its own Zelda game at all. No, which is really weird because Nintendo has never ever done that in the past. But whatever, I guess. I mean, I've seen people complaining about this, saying that the only reason they have a Wii U is because of the new Zelda game. I guess I shouldn't really call it Zelda U anymore, since it's not going to be just on the Wii U anymore. But I've seen people say they just bought this console, the Wii U, just for Zelda, and they're complaining that they're wasting their money now. But yeah, Nintendo, you just pissed off a lot of customers there. But yeah, I really want to see this new console succeed, because if Nintendo has another flop, they're screwed. They're not. I don't think they're going to make another console after the NX if it flops. They're probably just going to stick to their handhelds because that's really all they're good at anymore. Aside from their first-party titles, of course, because if this console has another gimmick, and third-party developers won't want to touch it with a 10 for a pull. They did that with both the Wii and the Wii U because of the gimmicks that they had. I'm not saying, well, the Wii was not that great, looking back at it, but I'm not saying the Wii U was a bad console. I liked the Wii U. It had a lot of good games. I mean, I at least didn't have as many shovelware as the Wii did, but it had some. But at least it was I think it was a more solid console than the Wii. At least it had HD, proper online, and all that. I mean, it was a huge improvement over the Wii, in my opinion. But the Wii U, it struggled because of the gimmick. Third-party developers didn't want to work with the tablet controller, the gamepad. They didn't want to work with the gamepad. They didn't want to go through all the trouble with trying to make their game work with it, because why do that when the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 had normal controllers? So Nintendo, please ditch the gimmicks. Please stop. I mean, come on, Nintendo. 10 years ago, the Wii launched, and third-party developers didn't want anything to do with the Wii because of the gimmick, and the same thing with the Wii U. They didn't want to work with it. So Nintendo, I really hope you learned your lesson and stop trying this. And people might say, oh, but Nintendo's different. They want to try to be different from the other, from Sony and Microsoft. That hasn't worked for them for the past 10 years. Okay, I know the Wii was a big success, but again, major third-party developers didn't want anything to do with the Wii. They didn't put their must-have third-party games on the Wii and the Wii U because of the gimmicks. If Nintendo ditched the gimmicks and put a normal controller and provided a normal controller for the console, then I think it would be a success. And that's exactly what Nintendo needs right now, a big success with their new console. Because if this console flops, and third-party developers don't want anything to do with it, ugh, Nintendo, you're screwed. So I'm crossing my fingers. Please, Nintendo, please have another success with your next console and do it right. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.